Hey guys, thank you so much for joining me for another online yoga practice. This Friday, the 29th of September, we celebrate the full harvest moon. Now, the harvest moon is the first full moon of the autumn season, and this year we celebrate the harvest moon in Aries. Now, Aries is a fire sign and is a strong sign for discipline, courage, and for really setting out dedication to those intentions. This, paired with the power of the full moon, means that we've got quite a lot of energy behind any new intentions we wish to set. Now, the conflict comes when we realize that we are transitioning into autumn, which is the time of grounding, of nurturing, and more restorative elements. So what often happens in this time is that the head tells us that we're motivated to do a lot of things, maybe create to-do lists, plans, actions, and then the body just wants to rest. So what we're going to do today is take a grounding yoga practice in order to create a stillness of the body, a stillness of the mind, so we can let that intuitive guidance shine through. This is the perfect time for following up on your new autumn intentions, but sometimes when we don't have direction or where we don't know where we're going with those, it can create this conflict between the body and the mind. If you wanted to include some crystals for your practice, either Amethyst, Labradorite, or Moonstone are really good for connecting to that intuitive nature. And if you wanted to add any essential oils, cinnamon, lavender, or clove are really good for this time of year as well. So this is going to be a far more restorative practice. If you wanted to bring along any blocks, pillows, cushions, I strongly recommend that you bring those with you today. And I really hope you enjoy the practice. Thank you so much. Namaste. Okay guys, so I just want you to bring your new intention to the forefront of your mind. So as we approach the deeper levels of autumn, we really associate more with the elements of earth. It might be nice to bring in something that resonates with those qualities, such as loving, nurturing energy, or using the time to create a safe and stable environment, to create a safe and stable routine for your body, for your mind, to encourage a little bit of introspection. But honestly, any intention that resonates with you, I just want you to bring that forwards. And this is something that we're going to use as a tool through our practice to gain clarity over that intention. And hopefully at the end of this practice, we'll feel a little bit more aligned with those values. So we're actually going to start today in a child's pose. You can bring your knees to mat distance apart, or you can bring your knees together. And just extend your arms out in front, releasing your forehead down either to the earth or to a block. And just using your child's pose to connect with your breath. Utilizing that intention, you can imagine that with each inhalation, that intention is flooding into your body. That feeling is working its way, weaving its way through each cell, each fiber of your being. And with each exhalation, we're letting go of any energy that no longer serves us, whether that manifests as frustration, anger, just letting it all go. And then when you're ready, we're going to move into a side body stretch, just walking the hands over towards the right side of the mat, continuing to press that left sit bone down into the left heel. Just taking one final breath here. And then walking your hands back through center. And then just walk your hands over to the left.
Pressing gently through the right palm as if you're trying to really root that right sit bone down towards the right heel. One more breath here. And then just bring yourself back to traditional child's pose just for a couple of moments. Really allow the breath to regulate, breathing that intention in. And exhale, really allow yourself to find that grounding energy. And then we're going to make our way to all fours, bringing the shoulders over the wrists, hips over your knees, and we're going to come into a melting heart pose. So ensuring you've got plenty of space in front of you. Take a nice inhalation, tall spine. And as we exhale, we're going to walk our hands forward. Now your palms can be shoulder distance, or they can be a little bit wider, maybe more like mat distance apart. Release your forehead down to the earth or to a block. Maybe eventually your chin or even your chest begin to melt down towards the floor. And you may find it a little bit of a challenge to breathe here. Just imagine that with each inhalation, all of those tissues around your heart are opening up in gratitude, love, and acceptance for exactly where you are in this moment. Just holding here for another breath in and another breath out. And then when you're ready, looking forwards, we can just walk our hands up, or we have the option to slide through to Sphinx pose. So you want your elbows under your shoulders, your forearms are parallel with the long edges of your mat. Your palms are spread nice and wide. We want to avoid letting the shoulders crunch up by the ears. Instead, open your heart, lift your chin slightly away from your chest. It's not an active pose, but we do want to find a little bit of energy through that heart space, as if we're drawing those elbows back in towards the ribs. Keep breathing. It's in these moments of stillness that the mind begins to search out active thought patterns, trains of thought, and sometimes this can be helpful. This can help us get through everyday life as our mind helps to analyze and to judge. But sometimes we actually need to use this time of stillness for reflection. So just letting that intention resonate with you here as you open through your heart. Feel it within your body. Align yourself with it. Take another breath in. As we exhale, just stack your forearms in front of your face. Just gently relax your forehead down. And you can give your hips a little shake from side to side if you're feeling any tension. I'm going to come into a stretch for the shoulders. So bringing your right arm out to the side, wrist in line with your shoulder, or you can bend your elbow at 90 degrees. Just release the right ear down to the floor as you either just bend your knees and stack your knees with your left palm underneath your left shoulder, or eventually maybe you can step those left toes down towards the earth, acting as a little kickstand as we stretch out through the front of the chest, through the deltoids. Just take one last breath. Exhale fully. And then just either gently bring your leg back to center or just roll back onto your chest. And we'll switch sides. So bringing your left arm out to either a capital T position, or you can bend your elbow at 90 degrees. Bringing your left ear to the floor, palm of your right hand under your shoulder. You can either step that right foot back like a kickstand, or you can just bend your knees and stack your knees on top of each other. Just really let that left shoulder be heavy. And as you feel the intensity build in some of these poses, just bring your awareness back to the intention. And just remembering that as with the cycles of emotions, as with the cycles of the seasons, these feelings too will pass. And just because something may feel intense doesn't necessarily mean that's a bad thing. These times of transition can be some of the most powerful, magical, and spiritual times that we'll ever feel. So if possible, try to embrace this turmoil. Gently bring yourself back through center. Once again, you can just stack your hands, maybe shake your hips from side to side. And then bring your palms under your shoulders. Just lift up and press back to child's pose. Knees can be wide or together. Take a breath in. As we exhale, bring your left arm underneath your right, so coming into revolved child's pose. Coming down to rest on your left shoulder, your left ear. Right arm can stay extended, reaching the tips of the fingers forwards. On your next breath in, bring your left fingertips forwards. And as we exhale, slide your right arm underneath your left, coming to rest down on your right ear, your right shoulder. Either softening your gaze or maybe closing off your eyes. Just take one last breath. And then as we inhale, extend your right fingertips forwards. Just press back to child's pose for a couple moments. And then just gently walking your hands up. You can either just cross at the shins and sit the hips behind the heels, or we'll roll onto the side. We're going to come to lay down on our backs. And we're going to take a happy baby pose. So just bending your knees, hug your knees to your chest. Maybe this feels like enough sensation for you today. Otherwise, bring the soles of the feet up towards the ceiling. Take a hold of the outsides of the feet, ankles or thighs. Maybe just begin to rock from side to side. And one of the parts that I find really interesting through my yoga and reflection practice is that a lot of the times it's the poses that we resent that are often the ones that call us, or the ones that we need the most. So if you're finding today's practice a challenge, if you're finding it hard to hold in stillness, this may be a reflection of how you're feeling internally. You may have a lot of passion, creativity, motivation stored inside you without really a healthy outlet to indulge those feelings. And that's the purpose of this practice. If we can hold in stillness and use that as an opportunity to hold a mirror to ourselves, to reflect and to notice how we feel, then this is where the magic of the practice happens. We begin to find direction and find a path in which calls us from our higher self. And in this way, we can create a clarity of the mind, a stillness, as we allow our best intentions to serve us. Just take another breath here. Exhale fully. And then just hug your knees into the chest. We're going to come into one last hip opener before we come into meditation or relaxation. So just bringing the soles of the feet to the floor. Let the soles of the feet press together as the knees draw open to the side. And notice the tendency to want to maybe push into a full range of motion here. If you feel the need to go stronger or go deeper into this pose, just be content with what is, even if that means modifying a little bit. You can rest one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and just allow the eyes to close. And just let go of any regulation of your breathing, and instead let your breath find its natural patterns. You may even feel the pulse of your heart with your hand at your sternum. Just holding here for another breath. Exhale fully. And when you're ready, you can use your hands to help guide your knees through center. Either coming to lay down on your back for a full Shavasana, or if you prefer, you can come into a seated meditation. Just letting your arms be heavy. Dipping your chin slightly towards your chest to create a bit of space through the throat, through the neck. Let your body become heavy, become so still that it's almost as if it were beginning to melt into the earth. Like the muscles of your body are like clay, gently sinking, becoming unified with the space around you. And finding this complete stillness may raise feelings of discomfort for you. Physically, you may notice the tendency, the desire to twitch or to fidget. If you can, remain still anyway. And as we go deeper, you may notice this effect through the energetic body. You may notice this natural conflict with the desire to remain still and the desire to move. This may resonate as a feeling of fire within your belly or heat building within the mind. You may also notice a sense of heaviness through your pelvis. And as we go even deeper into the emotional, the mental body, just once again noticing the internal thoughts, the stories, the judgments that rise to the surface. And knowing that enjoying the practice doesn't necessarily mean that makes it worthwhile. Sometimes the most powerful lessons are in the times of difficulty, transition. It's those moments of deep discomfort where we remain anyway. And just notice the mind's natural tendency to wish, to desire, to search, to try to solve all of the problems that do or don't exist. And then just remain still. Let the thoughts drift past as if they were clouds on your conscious mind, leaving you feeling lighter, more open, and more receptive to the divine spirit within. Now, it's at this point of your practice, I invite you to stay here or move into a seated meditation. This is also a wonderful time for reflection upon the intentions you'd like to take with you through to the autumn season. To notice how you feel with this impulse of energy that may or may not be serving us on our journey today. So just reflect, take a moment, and just knowing that there's no right or wrong way to feel. And instead, just feel. I wish you all a wonderful harvest full moon. And I hope you have the discipline and the strength to take on all of the intentions that you desire for the autumn season. Thank you all so much for joining me. Namaste.